Hello everyone! Today we are talking about 5 bad habits that may be sabotaging your water control. If you're new here, my name is Teresa. I'm a surface pattern designer and watercolor artist. Number 1, reactivating your palette by flooding it with water. When we flood our palette this way, we've already lost control. Now I love having a lot of water in my palette like this in the mixing areas, but when we have too much water over in our pigment wells, that's where the problem comes in. When our paint wells are swimming in water, it takes a lot more work to get to the consistency that you want and then to maintain that consistency. When we lightly spritz the paint, then it becomes this nice creamy pigment that we can work with. Place it over in the well, and then you add as much water as you need to gain the consistency that you want. When you don't have control of the water in your palette, it's going to make controlling the water on your paper difficult as well. Number 2, not mixing up enough paint in the very beginning in the consistency that you need for your whole project. And sometimes that's kind of hard to know exactly how much you're going to need, but if you can mix up a little extra, that's what I do. I just mix up a little bit more than I think I need. Then when I'm painting, I won't run out of pigment in an awkward spot. So if we're painting and you run out in the middle and you have to remix your paint, it's really hard to get the same consistency. And if the painting that you've already placed on the paper has started to dry while you're mixing up the new paint, then that's really going to cause a problem. It can either leave a bloom or it can leave a hard line. Now, this one looks okay in the beginning, but in just a moment when it starts to dry, we're going to have a hard line. Number 3, not drying off the brush ferrule after dipping it into the water jar. Now, I know this one may sound a little, unlikely, but hear me out. When we put our brush into the water and swish it around, it usually goes up into the ferrule area. And you may have noticed little water droplets that form on the ferrule. Now, sometimes it really doesn't do much. Like right now, I'm having a hard time getting any droplets to form here, but there's one right here. Now, if there are a lot of water droplets on your ferrule, it can make a difference. It can drip down into your brush while you're painting and change the water to pigment ratio while you're actually painting. Or the other thing that I've had happen is that while I'm painting, a little droplet of water rolls down and drops onto my paper. Then I have a water spot in my paint. So this one may seem unlikely, but it can be an issue. So the easy way to fix this is when you notice a lot of water droplets on your ferrule, just take a paper towel and wipe it off before you begin painting. Easy peasy. Number 4, not taking the time to correct issues when they arise. Now, I love painting with lots of water in a very loose style, so when there's too much water in my brush, like this, where there's puddling right here in the middle and on the tip, sometimes I'm perfectly okay with that. But there are other times when that's not desirable. So the easy way to just fix it is spread that puddle out over the whole area. And this will work very well as long as your pigment is still wet. You just spread it out, spread that moisture out, and you can dab it, wipe it off, then dab it again, wipe it off until you get any little spots up that you want. And number 5, you've heard about this. I almost hate to say it because we hear about it all the time, but 100% cotton paper really will resolve a lot of your problems. I was really slow to jump on this train. If you've seen any of my earlier videos, you know that I had a favorite paper that was not 100% cotton that I could paint pretty well on. I got used to it, I knew how to handle it, I could get good results with it, so I really didn't feel that it was necessary to pay more for 100% cotton. But then I did a 100% cotton paper review, which I'll link for you, and at that point I started using the favorite of mine from that video exclusively until just recently, and I tried to paint something on my old paper that's not 100% cotton, and I was shocked at the difference that I could see that I couldn't see before. And I think the reason why I really couldn't see that big of a difference is because I was painting on 100% cotton for special projects and things like that, so it was not my everyday paper. I was using the non-100% for my everyday. But once I started using the 100% cotton every single day in everything that I did, it made me more aware of how much better that pigment was reacting with the paper that I really wasn't used to on a regular basis. I'm just saying, if you're not a 100% cotton paper fan, really just give it a try. If you're having water control problems, they'll very likely go away after you change over to 100% cotton. Well, there you have it, 5 bad habits that have changed my water control issues completely. And I hope they will help you too if you're struggling. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I have a lot more really great watercolor videos coming up soon. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you in a couple of weeks.